Hi, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be giving you a mid-year update as to how my first 6 months with audiobooks has gone. Before this year, I had never listened to an audiobook. I kind of thought they wouldn't get along with me, but now that I've tried them, I love them and I don't think I will ever want to be without them. They're just so easy to listen to when you're just doing anything or going somewhere, and it really helps me get through a lot of books that I need to read. So instead of reading them, I download them as an audiobook and I listen to them instead. But I will link you to my original video explaining why I originally wanted to listen to audiobooks down below. Like I mentioned, I love audiobooks because you can literally listen to them whenever you like. I listen to them on my 40-minute walk to work. That's only when I'm at a certain branch. If I'm at the branch 5 minutes from my flat, obviously I go a day without an audiobook. I also love listening to them when I'm doing my chores because they make them so much more bearable when you're washing up, when you're doing a clothes wash, when I'm cleaning the flat. It just makes it so much better being able to know you're making progress on your TBR and a book while you're doing this work, because generally you wouldn't be able to read a book while you're doing all these things, especially because I can't read when I travel. If I'm in a car or a bus, I literally cannot read, I get car sick. So being able to listen to an audiobook is 100 times better for me. The only problem with this is that I have noticed some books you really need to keep your full attention on them. I found this with books like Burnable Book by Bruce Hollinsworth. I was listening to this sometimes and I'd be getting so confused as to what's going on because my attention would slip on something. And it is quite annoying when that happens because I don't want to have to rewind back and go through it again. But I am sometimes quite careful when I pick my audiobooks. I want to pick books that don't need my full attention and that are a bit easier to follow, just because I don't like being confused. But then sometimes I think if I'm confused by the audiobook, I'd be confused reading it as well. Because the Burnable Book especially, it did go into so much detail, there were lots of different point of views, and it was really confusing. Also, listening to audiobooks has helped me with classics. I must admit I have only listened to 2 classics, Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights, but they helped a lot. Reading some classics, I don't really get along with the language and how they are written, but the audiobooks made them so much better. Wuthering Heights I didn't get along with just because I didn't like the story, but Jane Eyre, oh, that was amazing. I think I might try reading it myself just to see if it's any better, but I have a lot more classics on my TBR, so I think throughout the next half of the year I'm going to be trying to listen to at least 1 classic a month. Just because what I found is that I thought 1 book would last me a month, but it actually doesn't. I can get through 2 or 3 audiobooks in a month. At least it's proven to myself that they don't take as long to listen to as I originally thought they would. Audiobooks have also helped me with a certain series. I really wanted to get into Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, but reading them I kind of got a bit, well, I didn't really like the writing and I couldn't really get into it. The first book that I got on my Audible free trial was Empire of Storms. I listened to the audiobook and oh my god, it's 100 times better than reading it, so that I also went and got Tower of Dawn as my second audiobook, and again I loved them both. They were just so much better. I was hooked. There were certain times where I'm like, I need to keep on listening, I need to see what's happening, so that when Kingdom of Ash does come out, yes, I'll be getting my physical copy, because whenever I get an audiobook I get a physical copy as well, because I always need my physical copies. I will be listening to the audiobook of that just because the audiobook of the last 2 books helped me so much and actually made me care a lot more about this series. I am just going to be audiobooking that as soon as that comes out. I think, is it October? November? But as soon as that comes out, I think I actually need to pre-order the audiobook as well. I've never pre-ordered an Audible, so that will be interesting. But before I finish this video, I just want to say that since listening to audiobooks, I have so much more respect for audiobook narrators. Before I never really cared for them, but after listening to, I think I've listened to about 10 audiobooks so far this year, I have so much more respect for them. The way they read, and then suddenly they come out with all these accents for the different characters. They are just amazing and they deserve so much more recognition for the work they do. I have been introduced to so many different narrators. I don't think I've listened to a book yet that's had the same narrator unless it's a series, and the fact that you get such a wide range of them as well. You get authors narrating their own books like Neil Gaiman and Stephen Fry, you get famous actors and actresses narrating them as well, and then you get people who you don't know narrating them. And it's just so good to listen to all these personalities bring these characters to life that you may have brought to life differently in your head, but the fact that you've literally got them there in your mind does make listening to a book so much more enjoyable. I mean, I still love my reading, I am never going to stop reading, but having that voice in your head is just great. I use Audible for my audiobooks, and it's pretty amazing because obviously you get 1 credit per month, and then if you do want any more books after you've used that credit, you can either pay full price for a new one, or they've got free Audible shows which you can download, because I know I've downloaded a Ricky Gervais one and a history one, and they've got lots of others as well. But also, I recently realised that if you don't like an audiobook for whatever reason, because there's ones like The Woman in Cabin 10 I hated, Wuthering Heights I didn't like, if you return them, you get your credit back so you can buy another book when you need to, which I think is great. The fact that you can literally just return an audiobook that you don't like is great. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Audible for this. I have just fallen in love with this app while I've been doing my audiobooks. So before I start rambling on like I normally do, I best stop this video. If you have listened to any audiobooks, can you comment down below? Just because I am looking for some different ones to maybe listen to. So I am fully open to any recommendations that you may have. That would be great. And I would also just like to talk about different voice authors, because different audiobook narrators as well, because they do deserve so much more acknowledgement than they are getting. So anyway, I will see you next week where I will have a very special video for you guys. Bye!